Alright, your 1500 horsepower RSO operating manual or railroad switcher. American Locomotive Company, General Electric Company, Shanady, New York. The Alco General Electric Diesel Electric Road Switcher 1500 operations period horsepower operating manual. American Locomotive General Electric Company, Cincinnati, New York, printed in USA. Index: the Alco GE 1500 horsepower road switcher general data. ALGE 1500 horsepower power plant description, location, apparatus, filler, drains, dimensions, how diesel electric work, locomotive controls, control stand handles, indicators, control stand handles, speed transistor indicator, load indicators, preparation, operating and hand operated your diesel electric starting diesel engine. You're starting your diesel engine, shutting down your diesel, starting a diesel engine, shutting down your diesel engine, move before moving locomotive, stopping, reversing locomotive, operating tips, multiple unit locomotive unit operation, change locomotive in multiple operations, independent brake valve, emergency diesel engine shutdown, operating through water, passing over railroad crossings. Alright, index subject: duplex air filter, drain main, air reserve, fuel injection pump, cutout, towing, load, locomotive, dead end train, draining and filling, cooling, water system, hand operated brake, hand brake operation, reverse, fast air pumping, brake cylinder, cutout brake, partial load operation, automatic air alarm, safeguard, wheel slippage, traction motor, cutout switch, ground relay, diesel engine, upper over speed switch, lubricating oil pressure switch, engine water and temperature control, circuit breaker, locomotive overspeed relay, supplementary information. Alright, your general data for the standard locomotive: 1,000 rated engine speed, 1,000 RPMs, engine horsepower, 1,500 horsepower, bore, 9-inch stroke, 10.5-inch fuel oil tank, 800 gallons lubricating oil system capacity 200, cooling water system capacity 250, sand capacity 28 cubic feet, steam generated water temperature capacity, steam generated water tank capacity 800 gallons, wheel diameter 4 inches, journal size 6.5 by 12 inch, maximum permissible speed 65 miles per hour, maximum radius curvature 100 feet, maximum height 14 foot 5 inches, maximum width 10 foot 0 inches, low length of overall 55 and 3.25 inch, wheelbase 39 foot 4 inch, wheelbase each truck rated 9 foot 4 inch if used. Description: the performance of the precision belt American Locomotive Company, the General Electric locomotive, depends largely on the intelligent handling of the good car operating manual, written especially for the operating personnel, describing the basic information essential to the efficient operation of the equipment. Design mainline switching service to the locomotive prepared with a 12-cylinder V-type 4-cycle turbocharged 1,500 horsepower Alco GE diesel engine diesel engine generator. The operating cab is located between the diesel engine generator, steam generator compartments, hoods. The main generator direct connect with the engine crankshaft that transmits the electrical energy to force air cold traction motor. The locomotive is mounted with the two swivel pedestal type trucks. The traction motor mounted on each leading trailing axle. The traction motor blower with the furnishing cooling air with the traction motor belt driven with the both ends for the power plant. Auxiliary generator furnishes the power with the covering, the lighting of the battery, charging circuit for the belt driven with the generator and amplified exciter also belt driven the generator and combined with the GE power plant regulator controls the conversion of the diesel engine horsepower with the traction effort. Equipped with air brakes, the scheduled 6DS air provided with the mechanical drive-in air compressor at 64-volt storage battery provided with the engine starting. Location of apparatus diagram will assist you the operator identifying all the equipment control stations. Information furnished in this manual is referenced and only cannot be used in the ordering renewal parts. Alright, 1 through the 14 across the top and then 15 on the bottom. 1 shows the control stand, 2 shows the engine control pan, 3 shows the contractor compartment, 14 shows the traction motor blowers, 15 shows the main generator, 6 shows the diesel engine, 7 shows the turbocharger, 8 shows the compressor, air compressor, 9 engine water tank, 10 lubricating oil filter, 11 radiator fan clutch, 12 lubricating oil filter, 13 radiator fan, 14 radiator shutters, 15 batteries, and 16 fuel tank. 16 shears underneath the cab. Alright, this shows your 10.5 foot from the front send sill to the center of the truck. back send 10 foot 9 inch from the end sill of the truck to the center of the back truck, 30 foot and 10 inches in between truck centers, 55 foot and 5 3/4 of an inch from sill to sill, 10 foot by 10 foot across wide and 14 foot and a half inch tall. How the diesel electric works. The diesel electric locomotive is quite similar with the diesel engine drive of the main generator, which produces electricity with the running traction motor of the gear, but the axles, when the throttle is open with the main generator, it becomes electric, connected with the traction motor electrical power lines, then flow with the traction motor locomotive moves. As the throttle is open, winder with the diesel engine speeds up, delivering more mechanical power for the main generator. Thus, the electrical power heads furnished with the traction motor. If the throttle is wide open, the diesel engine runs at the maximum speed. The main generator automatically adjusts the electrical output to the traction motor, supplying the required horsepower for the maximum rating with any combination of speed and load. Alright, Figure 5, engine's position. 1 air brake gauge, white hand brake pipe, red hand brake cylinder. 2 air brake gauge, white hand equalizing reserve, red hand main reserve. 3 rear headlight switch, 4 control switch, 5 generator field switch, 6 fuel pump switch, 7 front headlight switch, 8 gauge light, 9 emergency engine shutdown button, 10 speed transition indicator, 11 wheel slip indication light, 12 load indicator, 13 throttle handle, 12, 14 reverse handle, 15 selector valve handle, 16 automatic brake valve handle, 17 independent brake valve handle, 18 whistle valve, 19 wheel slip valve, buzzer. Okay, from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 3 to 7 across, then 8 and 9, and then 10 on the side, 11 in the middle, and 12 and 13 across left and right bottom. Engine control panel. 1, the window wiper valve. 2, the emergency fuel cutoff knob. 3, the fuel oil pressure. 4, the lube oil pressure gauge. 5, the cab heater control. 6, lubricating oil pressure gauge, red hand turbocharger bearings, black hand rocker arms. 7, control air gauge. 8, hot engine light. 9, low lubrication oil pressure light. 10, ground relay. 11, engine water temperature gauge. 12, engine water temperature controller. 13, engine control switch. Alright, figure 7 shows the air brake stand, sander valve handle, bell ringer valve handle, double heading cock, and brake pipe head valve. 1, 2, 3, 4. The light switches, not labeled, but on the side from 1 to 4 across, then the middle rows 5 to 9, then 10 to 13 from the left to right on the next side, and then 4 to 15, 16, and 17 from left to right. Headlight steam generator, negative steam generator, positive cab lights, auxiliary fuel pump, the motor generator set, electrical cab heater, engine room lights, crankcase, exhauster control, negative control, positive auxiliary generator field, battery voltmeter, in case exhaust lighter, auxiliary generator, ammeter, and compartment light. Alright, figure 10 shows the air compressor control from the top, the turbocharger air pressure gauge, the main reserve air pressure gauge, the air compressor governor, the governor cutout cock, and the engine cooling water drain valve. Other controls, emergency fuel shutdown valve. Figure 11 shows the closed position. Figure 12 shows the open position. The fuel oil tank, from the left you see 1 and 2, fuel oil filler, fuel oil sight glass. And then 1 and 2 on the figure 14 of the fuel oil tank drain and pipe plug. Other controls, brake switch handle, figure 15, lubricating oil pump bayonet gauge, 16, 17, lubricating oil drain pipe cap, 18, 1, 2, and 3, 1 are the cylinder duplex oil filter, 2 is the filter handle, 3 is the lubricating oil filler pipe. Other controls, contractor compartment from 1 to 2, and 3 and 1 from the left to right on the top, and 3 to 4 on the right side. Going down, ground relay, indicator ground relay, reset button, ground relay, cutout knife switch, forward traction motor cutout switch, radiator shutter operation mechanism, radiator fan limit switch, hinge latch, shutter operating rod, manual operating arm, and shutter operating cylinder. Fuel pumping latch, figures 1, 2, and 3, which I can't make out, but I can see the 2. 1 is right here, fuel pump latch closed, 2, the fuel pump rack, and 3, the fuel pump latch open. Emergency fuel oil cut off knob, figure 22, handbrake 23. Figure 24, sandbox filler up on the top there, the front. Figure 25, main reserve drain cock. Figure 26, the engine cooling water filter, engine water filling hole. Cab heater, water inlet valve. Figure 27, figure 28, water outlet valve right there. Figure 29, diesel engine turning gear. Figure 30, expansion tank sight glass. Your tachometer generator. The tachometer generator is over, and the overspeed reset button. Your shutter controls, air filter, lubricator, T vent valve, shutter control, air cutout cock. Alright, distributing valve 1 and 2, one on top of the other, one below, one above the two. Multiple operation cock, dead engine cock. Figure 34, roof filler pipe. Figure 35, air compressor bayonet gauge and air compressor lube oil filter plug. Alright, going over the control stands. Control stands handle. The engine control stands have 3 operation handles. See figure 36. The reverse handle with the reposition forward off of the reverse. The handle controls the direction of the locomotive. The throttle handle with the nodding notches, idle and 8 running notches controlling the locomotive. In advance with the throttle handles from one of the notch and another must be first moved back very slightly in advance to the next notch. Select the selector handle with the forward position used in the traction motor transition. Alright, figure 36 shows the reverse selector and the throttle handle position. The 1 to 8 notches on the idle throttle handle. This is the selector handle with 4 different powers, and a reverse handle on below to the side with an off, reverse, and forward and off and reverse. And indicated these 3 handles with the mechanically interlock before attempting the moving the locomotive. The engine man must be thoroughly familiar with the movements, must be familiar with the movements of the selector handle, any of the relations between the locomotive speed indicated with the speed transition indicator. With the reverse handle and forward, the reverse position of the throttle can be opened until the selector handle has been removed. The throttle cannot be opened until the selector handle is moved to the position 1. Free travel the selector handle through each of the power position prevented with the 2 latches below and the handle with a different sequence of the motion required in this moving of the handle of the one position to the other in either direction. This prevents the handle from being accidentally moved when the locomotive is under the power. Figure 37 shows the selector handle operation diagram. A is normal, B is the lift, C is an overlap. D handle drops, E slides, and H handle locked. Selector handle operating diagram. The path of the one position of another raise the B, but the handle move the desired direction C until the lower latch hit far side of the notch. They are very slightly moving the D. Depress the D handle with the move E to the forward next position. When the next position is reached, the upper latch will drop into the notch and stop the movement from the lock F, the handle. Alright, figure 36. Figure 38, speed transition indicator. Locomotive is equipped with the speed transition indicator with the 2 scale, the inner scale calibrated with the miles per hour, with the outer scale represents the selector handle to position and use the gauge. Guided positioning of the selector handle. See the table of 35. The locomotive speed increase with the selector handle should be moved in corresponding position indicated by the pointer. So you have your 4 different selector handle throttles on your miles per hour 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Over here you have a load indicator, and the locomotive is equipped with a load indicator used for the engine guide man of operation throttle. Through the proper use for the engine man may get the maximum performance of the locomotive with regard to absolute abuse of the overloading with the traction motor. The load indicator has a scale divided into 3 zones as follows. Red zone high currently ended with the scale represented with the heavy overload operation zone is normally used for the starting and acceleration of the train. Proper tonnage should be not required more than approximately 4 minutes of operation of this zone. Yellow zone operation is permissible the consecutive accumulated time not exceeding 90 minutes. No operation with the yellow zone is accumulated with the time exceeding 10% of the total operation time will result in shorter traction motor life and the higher maintenance. White zone is used. The continuous operation pointer may remain in the zone as long as desired. Alright, preparations. If the lights need to close the battery switch is pushing in the A down, the extension handle located to the left of the engine control panel near the floor of the sheet figure 15. Engine inspection compartment of the sheet. There are no racks, tools, lanterns, or near any shaft, the belts, or other moving parts of electrical apparatus. White waste should never be used in a locomotive. Never be used on a locomotive. Check the level of the diesel engine lubricating oil with the best. Keep the oil level to the high mark of the bayonet gauge of the locomotive and the tracking. If the safe hour to operate with the oil level above the lower mark, the figure 16. The fuel oil tank drain valve located on the left side of the cab. The figure 14 should be closed, and the fuel oil tank should be closed. Check the quantity each. The figure 13. Check the quantity with the water with the cooling water system. The sight glass attached with the water expansion tank should show how the water at all times. Figure 30. The power plant generating over the hydraulic oil pressure separated the oil tank furnished with the governor operation, maintaining the oil level of the tank at 2/3 of the using the bayonet gauge. Check the height of the oil. The tank is located on the left side of the locomotive. The air compressor end of the direct engine directly below the power plant governor. See figure 40. See the sand tanks having the supply of the sand in figure 24. See the emergency fuel shut-off valve that is open and with the closed count reset with resetting the valve stem slipping in the crotch under the reed stem in the figure 11 and 12. Make sure the cooling water drain is closed in figure 10. See the lubricating oil drain valve is closed and the pipe cap is securely tightened in figure 17. Handle the duplex oil filter in horizontal position figure 18. For operation 12, the traction motor cutout switch pointer should be indicate all motors in the ground relay cutout knife. It should be enclosed with the ground relay indicator should now show red. To reset the ground relay, push on the reset button figure 19. The radiator should be used with automatic control handling the hinge latch designated shutter operation arm the figure 20. Radiator control switch in the engine control panel should be automatic position figure 6. For the air compressor governor cutout shock must be open figure 10. Bayonet gauge see figure 10. Figure 40 shows the governor oil supply tank with the bayonet gauge over the oil supply tank. See the throttle of the idle reverse handle in the out position. The selector handle is the out position. Diesel engine turning gear of the diesel disengaged with locked. Located with the air compressor end of the engine marked and mounted directly above the engine crankshaft and pan extension figure 29. See the diesel engine overspeed reset button in figure 31. Check the air compressor oil level. Maintain the oil level of the fuel mark of the bayonet gauge from the engine shutdown figure 35. Alright, how to operate. Starting the diesel. In order to start the diesel engine, there are 4 sets of switches, circuit breakers, and battery switches involved. One set located with the engine control panel to the left of the engine man seat, figure 5. A second located in the engine control panel directly in front of the engine man seat, figure 6. The third set is bound with the engine control panel to the left of the engine man seat, figure 8. The fourth panel is located with the contactor compartment panel between the operating cab and the engine compartment. The battery switch handle is located to the left of the engine control panel near the floor is figure 13. All circuit breakers protected with automatic circuit breakers that are no fuses on the locomotive. Close the battery switch. The hand selector to the out position. Throttle to the idle position. Have the reverse handle in the out position. See the following switches located on the contractor compartment in order and operating the cab and air on the on position. See figure 9. Headlight, cab light, auxiliary, cab lights, auxiliaries, fuel pump, MG setting, engine room listing, crankcase, exhaustor control, negative control, positive, auxiliary generator field. 6. Snap the following switches located on the engine control panel to the on position. See figure 5. Note that all the pressure building up in 30 pounds minimum is indicated with the fuel oil pressure gauge mounted on the engine control panel. On the same panel, the engine control knob is in the idle position. Note that the low oil pressure light an alarm bell will ring until the engine is started. 8. When 10 seconds for the power plant go with the reset, the turn the start would switch on the engine control to the clockwise control and crank. The hold start switch closed with the engine start. Pressure shows the main bearing gauge that the light goes out and alarm the bell with the stop of the ring and release the start switch before the light goes out with the stop engine above. The procedure will give the repeated. 9. Check on the lubricating oil pressure gauge of the engine control panel for 20 pounds per minute, pounds per minimum pressure. See the crankcase exhaust light with the contractor compartment panel is light down. Shutting down the diesel engine. Move the selector reverse to the selector and the reverse handle off. Snap the generator field switch and located on the engine control panel to the off position. Move the engine control knob to the engine control panel to the off position. Snap the fuel pump switch and the engine control panel to the off position. Release the air brakes and apply the handbrake. Move all the switches on the engine control panel to the off position. Open battery switch. Before moving a locomotive, have 125 to 140 pounds of the main reserve air pressure. Having 70 pounds of the control air pressure gauge is located in the engine control panel. See figure 6 for the cutout. Look of the control air reserve located on the left of the battery box on the right side of the locomotive. The control air regulating valve and the control air reserve are located just beyond the battery box. 3. The applying the air brake with the 30 pounds minimum release hand brake is advisable to have at least 120 feet Fahrenheit water temperature is shown in the engine control panel. See Figure 6. Alright, 5. In order to test the forward standards, the following must be observed. Apply the air brakes to prevent locomotive movement that have 70 pounds of the control air pressure. Place the reverse handle in the forward position. Close the generator field switch. Move the selector handle to position 1. Operate from the throttle number 1 monetarily with the place of the reserve forward position. To load the throttle, move the center valve with the handle Figure 7 to the center of the position extremely left. And return center valve handle to the center position 6. In order the rear center of the following must be observed. They apply the air brakes to prevent the locomotive movement that have the 70 pounds of the control air pressure. Place the reserve handle with the reverse position. Close the generator field switch. Move the selector handle to position 1. Open the throttle to notch 1 momentarily. If this will place the reverser in the reverse position. Close the throttle. Give the center and valve handle in number Figure 7 from the center position extreme left. I return the center valve handle to the center position. Moving the locomotive. Move the engine control knob to the engine control panel to run, pausing 3 seconds at each position. Snap the generator field, which is in the engine commands control panel, to the on position. Move the reverse handle from forward to the reverse position, depending on the direction desired. Move the selector handle to position 1. Release the air brakes. Open the throttle to the number 1 notch and pointed with the load indicator should be slightly movement. If no, return throttle as idle. Make sure the switches and circuit breakers are in proper position and previously instructed. 6. Continues to notch up the stopping in each of the notching long enough for the lead load indicator pointing to settle with the steady reading of the locomotive starting the movement. 7. When the locomotive starts to move, maintain the throttle in the notch that will keep the locomotive moving through without acceleration until the train is stretched. No, after the train is stretched, the train speed increases. The pointer with the spread transition indicator Figure 38 will move the Section 2 transition scale selector handle should be moved to position 2. This produces should be followed with the main moving selector handle in position 3 and 4. 8. The selector handle should be advanced and retarded as follows. Selector handle position 1 at 0 to 18 miles an hour, or 5 miles an hour, 0 to 21 miles an hour. Position 2, 8.5 to 23 miles an hour, 21 to 26 miles an hour. Position 3, 23 to 49 miles an hour, 26 to 56 miles an hour. Position 4, 49 to 65 miles an hour, 56 to 75 miles an hour. Selector handle may be moved to any position regardless of the last of the throttle position. During the starting the acceleration load indicator the point in movement in the red zone with a short period of time desirable in order to obtain the maximum starting after speeding acceleration. See Figure 39. Stopping a locomotive. Returning the throttle idle position. Apply the brakes and move the selector handle to the off position. Reversing the locomotive. Bring the locomotive to the full stop. Move the selector handle to position 1. Move the reverse handle in the opposite direction. Release the brake and open the throttle. Multiple locomotive operation. If 2 locomotives are equipped with multiple operation, all switches of the cutout cocks leading the locomotive should be made in the same position operation in a single locomotive. On the trailing locomotive switches or with the fuel exemption of the control generator field located with the engine control panel. With these 3 must have the off position. The throttle must have the idle selector handle in the off position. The reverse handle in place in the off and removed. But the independent automatic brake valve handles must be placed in the running position. The double heading cock with the brake valve with the valve pedestal in the cutout position. Multiple operation cutout cock located with the crossover pipe above the distribution valve with open Figure 33. Changing locomotive to multiple operation. On the locomotive being cut with applied 30-pound locomotive brake cylinder pressure with the independent brake valve. Place the double heading cock of the cutout position. Multiple operation cutout cock. So Figure 33. Place the dead engine cock in the closed position. Move the automatic brake valve handle to the lap and independent brake valve handle into the run position. Place the reverse handle in the off position. Remove it and remove. To do this, the necessary of the selector handle to be in the off position and throttle in the idle. An engine and control the generator field switches in the off positions, leaving the fuel pump on. Proceed the locomotive being cut in. On the locomotive being cut in, the reverse handle in the place for leaving in the off position. Move the independent brake valve handle to the application position. Move the double heading cock into the cut-in position. Move the multiple operation cutout cock. See Figure 33. Move the control fuel pump switches on the engine control panel to the on position. Return the locomotive being cut out and move the fuel pump switch to the on position. Go back with the locomotive being cut in and move the generator field switch in the on position. Independent brake valve. Do not use the independent brake to stop the heavy train. Use an automatic brake. The locomotive brakes may be released after the automatic application has been made, and then depressing the independent brake valve handle in the running position. Alright, emergency diesel engine shutdown. If it becomes necessary for the emergency shutdown of the engine, push the red stop button located on the engine control compartment in Figure 5. To restart the engine, return the throttle to the idle, move the engine control knob to the engine control compartment to the off position, then move it to idle and start the engine in its normal manner. Shut off the flow of the fuel oil from the tank through the engine to trip the shut-off valve and pulling of the one or more 3 emergency valve. The fuel cut-off knobs located as follows. Above the engine control panel, see Figure 6 with the outside of the locomotive located below the cab on either side, reach for the ground. Figure 22. Operating through water. Do not exceed 2 or 3 miles an hour. There is water above the railhead. Never operate the water over 4 inches above the railhead. Passing over the railroad crossing, close the throttle to number 2. Close the throttle or to the number 2 notch or under the reduce the traction motor current. Lessen the likelihood of arcing under the brushes and motor communicator flashes. Over. Duplex oil filter. The duplex oil filter contains 2 sections of filtering oil after leaves the tank. One of the oil filter section may be used depending on the position of the filter handle. Do normal operation only with the filter section should be used. The fuel drops to 20-pound swing handle over the opposite horizontal position. With the handle in the vertical position, both the filter and sections are in use. With the handle in the horizontal position, one filter is in use. See Figure 18. Draining main air reserve. Main air reserve should be drained in condensation by opening the drain cock at least once every 24 hours. Your fuel injection pump cutout. Each fuel pump has a cutout latch located directly behind each pump. The cutout, the pump, the pushing, the fuel pump, the rack, the flip of the latch in place. The maximum 2 fuel pumps on each side of the engine may be cut out at time. Because of the excessive engine vibration, the engine should be shut down. Towing locomotive dead end train. In freezing weather, drain engine cool water system. Close the double heading cock on the brake valve pedestal blade. Place the automatic and independent brake valve handles in the run position. Place the throttle in the idle position. Select the hander in the off and reverse handle in the off position. Turn all the switches off and the battery switch. Close the cutout located with the cross pipe at the above the distributing valve. Open the dead engine cock. See Figure 33. Draining and filling the cooling water system. Drain system, freezing water. Open the drain valve. See Figure 10. Remove the plug at the bottom of the water pump. Open both cabin and heater valve. Figure 27 and 28. Drain the system under the ordinary condition. Open the drain valve. Figure 10. Fill the system. Use either a roof connection. Figure 34. The filler nozzle. Figure 26. The water under the pressure required to fill with the side connection, not the roof connection. Handbrake operation. When the locomotive brake is released, apply with the handbrake the engaging latching lever the back of the brake wheel. Turn with the wheel clockwise direction until the brakes are fully applied. To release the handbrake and turn the wheel clockwise 1/8 of an inch turn to disengage the latch lever. Release wheel and the wheels will spin counterclockwise until the brakes are fully released. Handbrake supplies brakes rear truck only reverser. The reverser is located with the contractor equipment in the lower left-hand corner. The reverser fails to operate the engine control knob and to idle. Try to operate the reverse press in with the magnet valve pushing. Figure 41 shows the reverse of the magnet valve buttons, the manual operation handle, and the clips of the operating handle. Alright, if there's not effective to remove the manual operating handle from the clips of the reverser frame, insert the handle with the hole provided with a casting on the top of the operation shaft. Move the position corresponding with the movement of the train. Figure 41 shows the forward handle in forward position. Faster air pumping. Generator field switch located on the engine and control panel must be off. The reverse handle must be in the off position. The selector handle must be in the position 1 and open throttle in the notch 5 or below. Operating tips: brake cylinder cutout. The brakes on any one of the cutout may be cut off with the closing brake cylinder cutout cock located below the locomotive chassis on the right side. Figure 42 shows the brake cylinder cutout cock right there. Partial load direction operation. The diesel engine may be operated partially by moving the engine control knob to the points 2, 4, and 6, regardless of the last of the position of the throttle. Wheel slippage. Slipping on the driving wheels indicated with the wheel slipping indicator light with the buzzers located with the engine control panel when they occur with the shutoff of the particular curve of the throttle unbuzzing and the stop of the light goes out. When using standing of the necessary to prevent slipping of the wheels when braking if there is likelihood of sliding in the wheels. Traction motor cutout switch. The switch is located with the contractor compartment. Figure 19. Use the cutout for the traction motor ground with it should be out of the curve. The traction motor circuit with the equipment should be otherwise to be more effective turn on switch to be left cut with the motor 2 and 3 with the right cuts of motor 1 and 4. Ground relay. The ground curve of the main power cutoff power circuit alarm bell will ring. Ground indication light will light on the engine control panel. The ground relay indicator on the relay panel should show red. The diesel engine will drop the load, return the idle speed. Reset the ground relay button. Move the throttle in the idle position. Push the ground relay reset button. Figure 19. Order to determine whether or not the ground in the traction motor is cut off the ground relay to pick up the return throttle in the idle position. The ground relay pushing button. Turn on the traction motor cutout switch to the cutout of the motors 1 and 4. The selector handle the position 1 of the throttle. The ground persist. The throttle to idle. Reset the ground relay. Turn traction motor cutout switch to the cutout control motors 2 and 3. If the ground still continues, return the throttle to idle. Reset the ground relay. Open the ground relay knife switch. Figure 19. Move the locomotive no farther than necessary to get into the clear. At the same time, watching the smoke and the overheating of the electrical equipment. Diesel engine overspeed switching. The diesel engine overspeed switch automatically shuts down the engine, opening the governor clutch coil circuit with the power plant governor. This cuts the fuel pump racks to move the shutdown position. Reset the throttle of the engine control switch to the off position. Push the overspeed switch reset button. Located in the base of the tachometer generator moved on the governor side with the diesel engine from the generator end. See figure 31. Start the diesel engine in the normal manner. Then move the engine control knob to the running position. Low lubricating oil pressure switches. The diesel engine is equipped with 2 low lubricating oil pressure switches, 1 governor's oil pressure switch. If any of the reason lubricating oil pressure in each of the engine header drops 20 pounds at the first switch of the operation, dropping engine load return to the idle. Return to idle. If the oil pressure engine header continues to drop 7 pounds, the second switch operates the shutdown engine. When the first switch operates, the alarm bell with the ring of the low lubricating oil light with the light and the engine control panel. In case of foregoing occurs, move the throttle and the engine control knob to the idle and investigate the cause. In the case found with the corrected, move the engine control to the running position. Alright, automatic alarms. When oil pressure for the governor oil system drops below 75 pounds, the governor will shut the engine down, causing the alarm bell to ring with lower lubricating oil light. The light to the light on the engine control panel. Engine water temperature control. Locomotive equipped with radiator side shutters open. Operation which can be controlled with automatically manually. The automatic control over the shutters area fully open and closed. The manual operating with the desired shutter setting being operation shutter being the visual operated with the operating manually closed. The cutout cock with the shutter control air on the small T vent valve with the air filter lubricator. The cutout cock of the air filter lubricated with the diesel engine compartment with the right side of the bulkhead between the diesel engine radiator fan compartments. Figure 32. Pull the extension handle with the shutter operating mechanism of the pull down handle diesel shutter opening with maintain the diesel engine water temperature between 140 and 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Lock the shutters in the position, dropping the hinge latch over the thread, operating the rod, adjusting the lock nut to keep the shutters in the position. Figure 20. However, the engine water temperature does not properly maintain manual operation of the shutters. Place them in full open position when the shutter is in position. Radiator fan limit, which should be closed. The radiator fan can operate only when the switch is in position to operate. Automatically open the cutout switch of the shutter control. Close to the T vent valve with the raise the switch latch, fold back the rest of the shutter frame. High engine water temperature alarms will set at 185 degrees. And safeguards. Each of the locomotives is equipped with radiator fans and speed with which control the automatic and manually. Automatic control move the engine water temperature switch to the automatic position. The switch is located with the engine control panel. For the manual control, move the switch in the manual position. Rotate the kernel dial in direction indicated with maintain 140 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Circuit breakers. If the circuit breaker should trip, the handle will be midway on the off and on and off. To reset them, move the handle to the off position, then to the on position. In some cases, it may be necessary to wait a few minutes before attempting to reset the breaker. Locomotive overspeed. If the relay limits the top speed of the locomotive, the warning will blow for 6 seconds before the diesel engine drops. Return the engine idle speed of the surface application brakes that is applied in order to prevent the action. Return the throttle idle move. Make the surface application of the brakes to reduce the train speed below the maximum permissible speed. However, if this section does not take place, it will be necessary to reset the relay, close the throttle, and the idle to release the brakes in normal manner. This was the 1500 RSO operating manual for the road switcher. All American Locomotive Company, General Electric Locomotive Company. Did we get a year on this? No year.